Hello, happy Thursday, and welcome to the temple. I am your high priestess, Erin Siniva McHugh, and as we enter this temple today, I welcome the presence of our higher selves. I welcome the presence of the highest consciousness into this space, highest love, highest compassion. I ask for the divine to hold us in the light today, and I welcome the benevolent teachers and weavers of the divine plan to grace this space, to support the expansion and sharing of spiritual experience and education. This is the place where we witness the work that we talk about. We can be present for the unfolding of hearts returning to their true medicine. And you may be called to this space today because you are seeking connection to your own divinity, or you are seeking a space where you can truly dive into your inherent perfection. Remember how to heal and walk the path of love and participate in the restoration of the divine plan on earth. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, my friends. We're still in this Bayaltana energy, which is really beautiful. And we are here in Colorado on the Front Range. We're recovering from a snowstorm that was just like a whiplash. And a lot of the trees are down. There's a lot of kind of sadness to see. Not the trees aren't down, but a lot of limbs were brought down, and luckily our energy, our electricity, that's the word, was not affected. We were very lucky about that. So, hello, Donna. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. I'm just gonna quick share this to my personal page. Excuse me while I do this. And I have a lot to talk about. So I'm excited to get started and really share my heart with you today. I have some kind of vulnerable energies to share with you, and I want to say that I think that it's incredibly important that the people that we are learning from allow themselves to be vulnerable with the people that they teach. And that's something that I've always really valued. One of the main reasons, that I left my teacher was her inability to be really authentic when things were challenging for her. And that she hid behind, right? Like she hid behind screens, she hid behind her own pain. And I don't do that. I actually refuse to do that. I am quite we can give it a term and call it authentic, but for me, I can't help but be honest about who I am, where I'm at. And my whole journey of being a teacher and having a presence online has been about sharing my experience, being authentic about what's happening to me in the moment, because most often what's happening to me is also happening to other people, because as a priestess, I am tapped into the collective. I'm consciously tapped into the collective. We're all connected to the collective, but whether or not you pay attention to that, whether or not you're, really listening or, have any awareness that you might be going through the same thing that other people are going through, that's just kind of obscure, right? But for those of us who consciously connect to the collective on a regular basis, and I would say I do that for the sake of teaching. I do that within the context of teaching spiritual alchemy and the priestess path and hypnotherapy And so it can be intense. But let me tell you what's happening here in my world. So, where do I begin? One of the biggest challenges I believe that I've carried in my life is feeling heard, right? And I made a post about this the other day, and a lot of you really, resonated with it, and that's beautiful, and I'm glad because it's a big piece, and it's huge on the collective scale. And I truly believe that when we make space for our healing, the healing speeds up. And so I feel like this is coming to the surface right now because I am, conducting this healing of the persecution wound on the 16th. So, as I have been noticing the places where I'm not being heard, I bring it back to myself and I reflect on, gosh, am I just like harping on this person for them like really not acknowledging what I'm expressing? Am I being, I begin to like question my own sanity. I question myself. And in that, I'm like, wait, I don't think I'm a crazy person. And I don't think that I am irrational. But I definitely know that I'm not being heard. And so, as a hypnotherapist, as an alchemist, we look for these kind of belief statements that are strong, that carry weight. And the I'm not being heard as a belief statement is huge, right? And so that's something that we need to be looking out for when we are realizing, oh, I'm being constantly triggered by this and that. And when we're trying to look through and understand what our wounds are, and usually following the triggered path, following heightened emotions, following your anxiety, following how you feel when you're around other people, it will inform you. It will tell you what you need to work on. And the way that we kind of traverse that is that we ask, what are the statements that I'm making around this theme? And so I'm not being heard is my statement, right? Or nobody listens to me, or different variations on that theme. So while I was in the thick of it, a few days ago, having kind of an eruption, with a friend and feeling really disrespected and feeling, ignored. And when I expressed my entire experience, it was put back on me that, it doesn't matter what my experience was because their experience was completely different. And, we all want to say like, my experience is valid, your experience is valid, right? And what I've struggled with is people acknowledging that my experience is valid. And because I'm a therapist, it's easy for me to acknowledge other people and their experience. And so in this kind of eruption, I took the time to really be in the emotions that were being brought up, because it's in those emotions that the deep work can really be harnessed easier while you're in it, And, oftentimes I would rush to my own, therapist and call my dad and be like, oh, I've got something I need to work on, And I almost did that. But while I was really in the depths of this experience, my higher self, like my guidance was like, you don't need your dad. You can do this on your own. You already know the process. You do this protocol every single day. You know how to do this. So as I was literally sitting right here in, in my sacred space and with my magical items and all of my kind of spiritual support, I allowed myself to tap in and check in. And it really is it's challenging to do as a professional. It's challenging to do this work by yourself on your own, right? In the same way that sometimes it's like it's hard to give yourself a tarot reading. It's hard to have an external perspective. It's hard to hold space for yourself. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? It's hard to hold space for yourself, especially if you're, like me, I spend hours holding space for other people every single day. So holding space for myself is not something that I do, often. And we all ought to. That doesn't mean I don't take space or meditate or, do things like that. But to do this deep work, like doing past life regression on your own without a facilitator is difficult. But the answers came really quickly. So So here I am understanding the belief that I'm carrying that's affecting my experience, which is nobody hears me, right? Or nobody can hear me, or nobody's listening, or whatever, right? All these variations. And what we do, we call that the field of experience. And the field of experience might have kind of these different layers. Nobody hears me, nobody's listening. Even if they do hear me, they don't care, right? Or nobody cares about what I have to say, et cetera, et cetera. So I went into a deep place with myself and, just through the breath, and calling on my higher self, calling on Rumara, calling on my helpers, and creating a container. And I said, okay, everybody, we're going to go to the source. This is how we do it, right? I'm literally giving you the tool today for free. Take me to or show me the source of this field of experience. And then you name the field of experience. And it was pretty immediate that I saw myself in another life, female, on my knees in a cold stone room with 2 or 3 men in front of me. My hands were bound behind me and they were cutting out my tongue. Yeah. They were cutting out my tongue, and after they cut out my tongue, they shoved these white, strips of cloth down my throat. So I ended up suffocating, and but really slowly suffocating. And a part of me was like, well, are they shoving the white cloth in my mouth to stop the bleeding because they want me to live, or are they trying to actually suffocate me? So bringing healing, then once you discover what the source is, and now I'm clairvoyant, right? So that means that I have the vision, I have the ability to see with my mind's eye. Not everybody is clairvoyant, and you might be slightly clairvoyant while also having, other clairs that are stronger. And everyone is psychic, only to a certain degree that then needs to be developed, right? So you are psychic as well. You have your gifts and you have the ways that your bodies communicate to you. So not only do I see things in my mind's eye, I might feel things physically as well and know things. And these are my clairsentience and claircognizance are my other two strongest clairs. So the information was, kind of coming in as to why this was happening and the context, right, of the scene that I was seeing. And I know that I have multiple persecution experiences, like mad persecution, not just like you're bad, right? But like burning at the stake and being hung and being tortured and martyred and all of these things. I've remembered a lot, I've healed a lot of them, and I'm, obviously I know the process of healing them, but this was a new one. I had not seen this one before. So in this experience, this is what we do. This is part of the protocol, is that we call upon the divine loving presence, and it comes with my helper, the heart of Elijah. I say, okay, the heart of Elijah, please touch this entire scene. And so there are layers of things that need to be touched. So it's not just the scene, right? It's the individuals that made the choice to do the thing. So then I have to, okay, heart of Elijah, touch the individual who decided that this would happen to me. Touch the choice point. These are choice points that we're touching, right? Touch the choice point of whoever did this, who conducted this. Touch my own choice point of whatever it was that I did that got me this kind of attention as well. And so once that happens, we're bringing in the presence of the divine to shift, right? To bring what alchemy is bringing, something of one frequency into a higher frequency, into a higher vibration. And so that means that things change, and you can just sit there and be present and watch things change. So I did, and felt, watch the scene change, watch those men back away, watch the whole scene disappear, and like everything just shifted. And one of the things that like my heart really wanted to do was just like take out a broadsword and just kill them all, But with the divine loving presence, that's not what happens. And that's not really the choice that love makes necessarily. Love in and of itself knows what to do. And that's why this work can actually be a lot easier. Alchemy, spiritual alchemy, can be a lot easier than people believe or, are assuming or even afraid of. I think that a lot of people, are a little bit conservative or trepidatious about getting into spiritual therapy, spiritual alchemy. Which is like kind of a type of hypnosis, you could say. Quantum healing, there's all these different, practitioners who put their names on it, and they all mean the same thing: spiritual alchemy. That's what it is, right? Beyond quantum healing, what is it? Healing hypnosis, like all of these different soul healing, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you name it, it falls under the category of spiritual alchemy. So the alchemy itself is a conscious process. And the alchemy takes over. Like I said, love knows what to do. And so you trust that it will be taken care of. You trust that what is happening is really happening, for one, and that it also serves the highest good. So after that happens, after you feel or witness shift and change, and you do feel it, there's a lightening, even if you feel just like a change in temperature, you notice this, right? So then you call upon Archangel Michael, and you've already called upon the highest consciousness of Archangel Michael and the angels of the highest white light from source, right? So then Archangel Michael is called to take all of the former energy, all of the energy that was there before you came in and alchemized it, right? Clear up that whole story, that whole experience, and heal it in the light, and then just send it back to source. And then you search throughout all of creation for all of the parts that were tormented, torn from you, severed, right? All of the things that you lost in the original experience, you call them back, soul recall, right? And honestly, it's as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. And so I have once I did that, once I gave myself a clearing, and I also had I had a big negative, alien feeding off of the big emotions that I was having. It can be as simple as that. That's what I want to say. Like, we have all of these burdens that we carry around constantly. I mean, I know so many people who just carry their childhood wounds on their sleeve, right? They carry their trauma, whether they're aware of it or not, like literally like a suit. It's who they are. It's part of their character, their personality. And I think that that's really a shame, because they're missing out on who they are. You are not your trauma. You are not the experiences that formulated this person that is now cowering and afraid. That's not who you truly are. And that being who is now afraid to live life and afraid to express themselves and, all of these things, is that you are hidden underneath that. And, Donna says many aren't aware of this powerful healing, and it's true. Like, this is something that I want to teach children. I want to teach parents how to just help us in the moment to heal and take care of what is coming through. And we can call it past life bleed through, or alternate reality coming through and triggering. But what it is it's an opportunity for healing. And I know that every time that I do a deep work for myself, I definitely feel like I walked through a portal, like I walked through an initiation of some kind. And it is like a healing is a journey, and we refer to the healing journey, and that it's not ever over, et cetera, et cetera. But even while we say like it's not ever over, for me, in my experience, because I really allow myself to feel what I'm feeling while it's up, my healing journeys last 48 hours. Right? For some people, they last 48 years because they don't allow themselves to move through it. You get stuck in it. You get attachments that feed off of it. And so when you have attachments that are feeding off of your pain, they're also helping to create triggers around you, so that keeps coming back and keeps triggering you again and again, and you keep having those feelings like, oh, nobody loves me, oh, my life is terrible, oh, right? And I give a lot of props to my parents. I was raised by 3 different kinds of therapists. So I was raised with a lot of self-awareness, a lot of emotional intelligence, and a lot of space for me to feel what I'm feeling. And I recognize that this is basically a privilege. I didn't realize it at the time, but it really is a privilege to be able to have this awareness. And it's not just from my early childhood. I do have to say that, like, I developed a certain amount of spiritual strength through 20 years of ceremony work, right? Like sitting up all night long and facing myself over and over and over again, so that now I can sit with myself for 15 or 20 minutes and move through a whole healing process that, most people don't even have in their lifetimes, because they don't know that they can just turn towards it and face it, because everything in your life is turning you away from your healing, right? The media, social media, entertainment, games, right? Like sports games, sports ball, all of these things, they're here to distract you from yourself, right? And unless you actually take the step towards some kind of therapy, you might never know what healing is possible for you, So, of course, doing this work for yourself can be really challenging. It can be really hard if you don't have a practice, if you haven't really sat down and learned all of these, different processes and protocols to really help yourself. But at the same time, you really can just call upon the light when you're in the moment, when you're in the thick of it. And who was it the other? Oh yeah, it was one of my students, was like, so what do I do when this thing is triggered, or when this thing is coming up? Like, how do I really just, well, I'm like, well, what have you been doing? Right? So I'm not, I caught myself as a teacher being like, well, make sure that you're da-da-da-da-da, right? This is a woman I've been working with for like 6 years, so I know she knows, right? And so I said, well, tell me what you did do, right? She said, well, I called upon the heart of Elijah, and I called upon the divine light to come and touch me in the field of what I was experiencing in the moment. And I said, great. Now you actually have to go to the source. And that's the key piece that, even those of us who have awareness, it's like, oh, I'm being triggered right now. Whatever this is, angels come and hold me in this space, come and bring the divine light to this, and help this part heal, and it's a good sentiment and it might help you in the moment, but it's not going to actually transform how that happened in the first place, why you're being triggered to begin with, right? So Donna says, or we just jam our emotional crap into a box and stash it. Yeah. And then it turns into a symptom. It turns into a syndrome or a disease, usually autoimmune, right? So this is what happens. This is, I guess, a good little segue that you created for me, Donna. That's what happens when we don't deal with our emotions. So even if we're having like triggers and pain coming up and PTSD and all of these things, and we're ignoring it, then we are actually, allowing that emotional trigger to become more and more dense And when it becomes more and more dense, it enters into the physical. So our healing, our traumas, our triggers, all of this stuff, it starts in the spiritual. It starts in the higher frequencies because it's at a soul level. And our belief systems are held within the soul. And so on this higher frequency plane, it begins to come into our field either through the mental body or the emotional body and stirs us up, right? If we are not allowing ourselves process, if we are not allowing ourselves time to be with those feelings, and the feelings are pushed away or they're ignored or they're numbed by food, drugs, alcohol, sex, right, entertainment, then it just gets denser and denser and denser, and it manifests in the body, usually in an organ related to the emotion that you're ignoring. I mean, this is really simple. Louise L. Hay, self-healing process of just really connecting the body parts to our issues. So we need to provide ourselves time and opportunity, space to feel, to be able to name what it is that's happening and to name the beliefs that we're carrying around it. And once we do that, then we are opening the avenue for the source. We're opening the pathway for the original creation, the original experience that most often started in a whole nother life. And so we can just invite the love to come and touch us in that source. And whether or not you're able to see the source, right, have that clairvoyance or have the vision or have the, even the understanding, like it's helpful to have that awareness and understanding. But if you don't have the ability to go through that whole process or hold that whole process for you, you just simply add it to your script, right? So, ooh, mama, I'm being triggered right now. These people are making me angry, and I feel like I am constantly misunderstood. Nobody understands me. There's the belief, right? So I call upon the heart of Elijah to come and touch me in the source of this belief that nobody understands me. And I might not be brought to that cognitively, consciously brought to that source, but you can trust that there will be alchemy there. Excuse me. It will happen. And then, keep going. And it's important to remember that as you peel back these layers of who you are and what you're carrying around, that more stuff is going to come up. And it's not just like we say, okay, I'm going to heal the source and it's all going to be good. It's like, oh yeah, you've got other beliefs underneath that one. Nobody understands me. Well, nobody's listening in the first place, right? Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me, right? So layers of beliefs that sometimes we don't even have the awareness of them or the time of day for them, because the other beliefs are so prevalent and so in the way of us actually being able to recognize them, honor them, acknowledge them, and bring healing to them. So that's the process. And it's so funny. My tarot cards are like, we haven't been out in a really long time and we want to come talk to the people. So I want to burn some cedar before I do that, before I shift gears. I want to burn some cedar for those of us who have been doing this work, who've been in it, whether or not you have an awareness of what's been working you. I am burning this cedar with the intention of clarity of mind and the removal of obstacles between you and your healing. So this is for all of us, and I invite you to energetically reach through the technology. You're going to grab this smoke and just bring it to yourself 4 times. Make sure you can see it. This is the cedar smoke. So good for you. Final clearing energy. And just bless yourself. Not on the computer. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the cedar is truly beloved. Some would say a closed ceremony, but as a Celtic woman, we have cedar trees in Ireland too, right? Good, Jonte. Yes, I'm gonna light this up even more. Yeah. Good. And it's delicious as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. For all of your healing, all of your clearing. In the name of love, in the name of the highest good of all, in the name of your divine plan, may the healing that you are doing be eternal, be thorough in your soul, and be complete. Thank you. Now we can shift gears and have fun. And it's so funny, my cards are like, oh, we want to play, but like my cards are downstairs. But I have my travel set right here. I do have an old set over there, don't I? What do I have? Oh! Yes. And if you're wondering about my shirt, what would love do? What would love do? So this shirt was made by the amazing Amanda Stevens. She has an Etsy shop. Look it up. She makes all the things. She's amazing. All right. I had to clean off the box. Like, this is how long I haven't used this deck. But this is, I'm really actually excited to bust these out. You must have been the ones that were calling me. Syrian Starseed Tarot Deck. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. Oh my gosh. So this is a deck that was created by Patricia Corey, if you know who that is. She's a spiritual writer, teacher. This is an amazing deck. And, who is the artist? Alyssa Bartha. Alyssa Bartha, also awesome. She's a graphic artist. And she's also on Facebook. You can find her. She does readings as well. So these cards are huge. These cards are huge. These were my main cards for several years. And if you like tarot, I learned tarot. I trained myself and self-taught, right? In tarot. And tarot is the gateway drug to all spiritual things. Definitely. Tarot and oracle cards, right? But I taught myself on the Thoth deck, ironically enough, Aleister Crowley's tarot deck. This was when I was a little ignorant, naive little baby priestess, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that I was actually allowing my energy to be taught and influenced by a sadistic man who probably harmed little boys. Talk about harnessing the energy, the spiritual energy of little boys. So once I learned that, literally 14 years after I started with this deck, I burned them in a ceremony fire. So there you go. So we definitely, like I definitely need a reading while I'm, in this work, and perhaps we are in need of discussing the energy, the healing that is coming up for each of us around persecution, right? And as we have this feminine rising energy, we are being shown more and more and more where the feminine has been demonized, demolished, where the divine mother has been ripped away from us, torn asunder, so that we have have a lot of repairing to do. And so whether this is a personal journey for you, if you are doing, processing your own healing of your experiences of persecution in this life or any other life, this is the time that it's going to be coming up for you. And so it's the time to harness it. You know what I mean? So we're going to, I think we'll do 1, 2, and 3. We'll do 3 cards or 3 pulls. And so pick a number, 1, 2, or 3, which one just really stands out to you, and that's your number. Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't buy that either, Diane. Yeah. All right. So, of course, I always appreciate it when you all share my videos. If you feel called to share this podcast today, I really appreciate it. Help to get the good word out for, all things spiritual alchemy, all things divine singing. Okay, so number 1, we'll just go in order. Being told to mix them up even more. All right, then you are number 1. Lovely. So first we have here for number 1, abundance. It's called abundance, right? But what is number 3? She's the high priestess. Double check. I'm going to double check my work. Yes. No, we have the empress. The high priestess is number 2. So the empress, she helps us to make emotionally based decisions. So when we think about the empress and the emperor, right? Heart-based or mind-based, right? Emotions or logic. And I was even writing about this yesterday, that we need to be, there's so many things to say here. We need to be making decisions based on our heart consciousness. And it makes me want to know, it makes me want to bring up something here that in the Egyptian teachings. But the heart consciousness is really It's actually something that cardioneurologists are learning right now, is that the heart has a brain. The heart has 40,000 neurons. Okay. And the actual process of our, if we are truly in coherence, right? Meaning that we are tuned into the heart, that the thinking process and the decision-making process starts at the heart, and the information travels from the heart to the brain, not the other way around. And so here we are with the gift of the Empress reminding us, hearting us that we're in control, that we are the ones with the power, and that we have the ability to make everything come about from the place of the heart, from the place of the power of the divine feminine. I mean, it's like pretty, just talking about the divine feminine. So this, the Empress also, and check this out. This image is so powerful. These cards are very different, right? The primordial mound of innumerable creation myths rises from the void, and all cosmic sea of life emerges in all its diversity and beauty, all in perpetual harmony with the divine wisdom of creation. This is the Great Mother, right? The primordial mother. This is our source connection. When we are in our power, we are in connection to source. In the Egyptian traditions of the 9 light bodies, we learn to map the heart and the consciousness, spiritual consciousness of our being. And there is we have the sound body, Ren, we have Kat, the physical body, we have Ka, Merkaba, right? That is our energy body. And then the Ab. The Ab is the mind at the center of the heart. And the Ab, right, is the consciousness of the heart. And so we can connect to the consciousness of these, of the heart, we can connect to the consciousness of the heart by just slowing down and breathing. So let's do a quick coherence exercise. So breathe in for 4, pause for 4, and exhale for 6. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for 4. Hold. Exhale. Keep going. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. So we can literally slow down and come into our heart field. And that was probably 40 seconds, right? It really just takes 40 to 60 seconds to drop in and let the heart take over. And the Empress is here to remind us that we are connected to the infinite when we allow ourselves to be connected to our emotions, to our heart, and to be led by the heart. Yes, these cards are huge. They're as big as my head. Okay, what card are you picking? So that was number 1, and now we're going to have number 2. Yes, ma'am. I couldn't make this up if I tried. What number did you pick? Here we have the Emperor. So we had abundance with the Empress, and we have reason with the Emperor. And yeah, take a good look at this guy. He's actually casting his I used to think of the seasons while doing it. Oh, I love that. So he's holding in his hand this amulet, this emblem, but what he's doing is he's casting destiny. And there are the 5 what are they called? The solids, but platonic solids around him, right? So he's connected to the logic. He's connected to logic. He's connected to the physical realm. He's connected to these, to the elements, and to, being connected to having awareness around the head, noticing, right? He has the platonic solids, the sacred geometry. He's connected to the structures of life. So let's see what her book says, because it's really important to know that different tarot creators have their, different versions of these static cards, static information. The Rider-Waite, I always say it wrong, the Rider-Waite deck, this is like hundreds of millions of, exaggerating, but millions of cards that have been printed are based on this deck. So all of these decks that you come across, the majority of them are based on the symbolism in this deck. And this actually is open source. So anyone can print the Rider-Waite deck, painted by a female, okay, Miss Smith. So reason. So number 2, if you chose number 2, this is for you. From the flowing abundance of the key that precedes it, there is a natural segue to the key of reason. After the Great Mother in all her limitless creative expression, the starseed is met by her male counterpart. So in this deck, she often refers to the starseed because this is the starseed deck. Here is a figure of noteworthy authority seated on his throne. He is clearly one to go for the last word, father to the child and ruler to the kingdom. In his exalted state, he is solid, powerful, and yet wise and yielding. There's a lot more here. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you, but I'm going to tell you that if you chose number 2, if you're connected with the Emperor, that this is the time for logical choices. This is the time for mapping things out, pros and cons, right? Maybe getting even professional opinions about situations, right? Seeking people who are the authority in their field. You are also the authority of yourself, right? And that's why the Emperor shows up often, because he's here to remind you that you're who's in charge. You're the one that's in charge here. So pay attention to the choices that you have to make and what part of you is actually making those choices. Of course, we want to make coherent choices that serve our highest good. And at the same time, We want to be not necessarily making choices based on how the heart feels, but what is structurally important with the consideration of everything involved. Okay. So that's number 2. And then we'll go to number 3. We've got Diane and Donna have chosen number 3. So here we go. Oh, I love it. I usually choose number 3. So I guess I'm number 3. This is the Master of Crystals. This is the King of Discs. The Master of Crystals. So crystals are the physical, they're the coins or the discs in this deck. And as I said, like, she has her own really awesome interpretation of the tarot. This is a really great deck. Like, if you like what you're seeing and you want to have a different perspective, and if you have a connection to Sirius, or if you are a starseed, this is a really good deck for you. This is a really good deck for you. I think they're still in print, but I'm pretty sure you can find this somewhere. She also has an app where you can, gosh, I haven't used it in years. I know I downloaded it. It might, still be on my account somewhere, but where you can, pull cards. This was before AI, so this is a really cool app. Yes, so Master of Crystals. If you chose a 3, this is your card. King of Coins. You are the master of your domain. This is for, maybe earth signs. You might be an earth sign as well. This is saying, yes, dig into the power of your body. This is the presence of abundance in your life. This is you actually coming into greater wealth of physical information, greater health process. That's definitely happening for me. And it's a maturing as well. It's really coming into your mastery. And let's see what she says here. She does this differently too, if I recall correctly. She has the royalty kind of in general. Yeah. The seeker, who is the page or the princess, the adept, who is the knight, and the sage, who is the queen, and the master, who is the king. So this is in general, okay, but think of physical, think of financial, right? This is coins or discs, however you look at it. Enter the ultimate male authority. The master is as much a figure of authority in the querent's life as it is about the aspect within oneself, an inner strength and knowledge of the domain of the suit represented. He has achieved mastery of his own process, overcoming the ego self and reaching pure consciousness of the field of influence, his kingdom, that he has mastered. Mastery also implies an understanding of the yin-yang harmony in spirit. He is aware of the gentility of love, the unconditional depth of those waters, and can reach into the feminine aspect of his being to exalt the energies of himself in chalices or emotions or cups and all the other suits. So when we're in mastery, it's not just this, mastery of the physical. This is a card of arrival, and it carries significant responsibilities with it. Masters are leaders. Their wisdom and authority are best utilized when they turn them back out to the society for the greater good of all. So keep going, my friends. Keep going. There is fulfillment in the work that you're doing. There is continued opportunity, and there's continued connection to the greater good as you pursue and follow your affinities, your talents, your gifts, and you share them with the world. So thank you for doing that. Yeah. So that was a fun little poll for everyone. I'm glad that it is encouraging for all of you as well as for me. And, in closing, I continue to encourage you to love yourself on this journey. Be gentle, be kind to yourself. Keep asking for grace and keep welcoming it in. Thank you for being on this journey with me, for trusting me in my process, in my vulnerabilities. And I really love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye, everyone.